Okay, good afternoon, everyone. It's 3:41 p.m. Eastern Time on July 3rd, 2024. We have Hurricane Beryl impacting Jamaica at this hour, and it looks like the core is just to the south of Kingston, and the most southern tip of the country is being impacted by the northern eye wall at this time, and that's our current position of the hurricane. Right now, as of on this timestamp here, this is from the at 2 p.m. So we're on, it's a little over an hour old. But as the day moves on, we will see this quickly get out of the area here. Here we are at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and then 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It's impacting Negril, Jamaica, and then it pulls away starting at 7, 8 o'clock tonight and heads towards the Cayman Islands, where it's going to brush them just to the south of the Caymans. So here's a radar of Hurricane Beryl, and you notice the northern eye wall, those deep red bands of hurricane force winds are impacting that little peninsula that juts out. But there's from what I could tell, there looks like there's no population on that little area that juts out there. To the west of there, however, there's some decent population centers along the southern coast, so we'll monitor this. Winds are the current advisory from the National Hurricane Center has the winds at 140 miles per hour. This is as of the 2 p.m. Eastern Time. Position from the National Hurricane Center 17.3 north, 76.9 west, 45 miles south of Kingston, Jamaica. It's about. To the west of there, however, I'm getting echoing, Bill. Maximum sustained winds 140 miles per hour. We have moving west northwest at 18, and the minimum central pressure is 959 millibars, 28.32 inches. Here's a live cam shot from Jamaica. And this is courtesy of Bill. He's handling the camera shots today. Bill, if you want to say hello real quick.
Good afternoon, everyone. Different shots from around Jamaica, two or three different feeds. So I'll go back to Jim and let him continue with his opening. Good afternoon.
All right, so this is from the timestamp on that camera is 2:46. So they're an hour behind on. They don't go with the Eastern time zone down there, so that's the live cam shot right now from Jamaica, from different cam shots around there. Halfway Tree Live. I guess that's downtown Kingston. I mean, it's obviously windy enough to where you see tarps blowing off some of the structures there on the left-hand side. I guess those are street vendors. So we're gonna touch on that. We're also I'm gonna show you a satellite view here of our current have to let that load real quick.
Population of Jamaica, 2 million, with almost well over 1 million living in Kingston itself.
Okay.
Island's known for, obviously, reggae was developed back in the 50s and 60s. Pop quiz, who's the famous reggae star from Jamaica, Jim?
Well, that would be Bob Marley, right? But he's not around.
That was an easy one. That was an easy one. I wasn't going to sandbag you. Very good. Yeah, he's from there. And they also are known for their rum, their alcohol.
Right.
So
Looks like the eye's making a comeback here. It was closed up a little earlier. Now it's coming back.
Could have been another eye wall replacement cycle, and there was the westerly shear is starting to fight a little shear now. It's not in the pristine environment that it has been for the last several days. And won't be now for the rest of its life. Not to say it won't re-strengthen a little bit here and there, but it's peaked. We won't go back to Cat 5, no way.
Right. Yeah, I don't think so either. In fact, the models are indicating this is going to, when it passes Jamaica, it's probably going to be, borderline Cat 2.
Maybe 3.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the H-Wharf and of course, I ran them about an hour ago. I can't remember exactly what they had, but it looked like it's going to slowly, steadily weaken from the time it leaves Jamaica to the Yucatan Peninsula, which is going to happen on Friday, tomorrow night, into Saturday morning. Saturday morning. Tomorrow's Thursday, so
tomorrow's Thursday.
Yeah,
in the U.S.
Tomorrow early it'll be south of the Grand Cayman, and then on Friday, late Friday or early Saturday, I think it's late Friday though. It's going to be hitting the Yucatan south of Cozumel. That's the official forecast anyway. South of Cozumel, down near Punta Allen, which is the southern Yucatan Peninsula. And I think Josh Morgman said he was going to go there, but
no, he did not.
I didn't see a post from him recently, so maybe he's traveling or something because he's not posting anything.
He skipped it. He was going to focus on the Yucatan if he was going to do anything.
Well, I know that, but that's what I'm wondering, if he's on the way to the Yucatan, because he hasn't posted anything.
I'll find out in a little bit. I'll look.
Well, I just looked. That's what I just said. I looked at Twitter, and I haven't seen anything updated. So,
Yeah, I get you. Jamaica in the last 40 years has only been hit twice directly, and that's the big one, Gilbert in '88, and then, believe it or not, Sandy in 2012. They've had several close calls. And, Jim, I don't know if you have that in a graphic where you can pull up the comparison between this and Hurricane Dean from 2007, but it's very similar.
Yeah, it is. I have the graphic on that. I don't have it queued up, but I'm just looking up Josh Morgan, and he just posted 2 minutes ago, just as we speak.
What did he say?
He says the core is just brushing the extreme southern tip of the island. Fortunately, Kingston is well outside the direct hit zone. Me headed to the Yucatan for a season warm-up chase. So I don't know, man. I just think this is going to be. It looks like it's going to be Cat 1, 95, 100 maybe when it gets in there.
If it's major, we cover it, but
no, I don't mean as far as cover. I'm just wondering why he would bother going there for that, because
he's bored. Like I said, he's bored. He hasn't chased in 9 months.
Yeah,
I think he's bored.
I guess he's got the time and the money to do it. What
the hell?
I would just save my resources for when the bigger ones come later on. Not that this isn't. I personally think he missed his opportunity with the Windward Islands, but
Well, let's not. It's in the other archive, but let's not. This thing with the records it's already done, with what it's already done in the Windward Islands, we will never hear the name Beryl again on another storm. I'm fairly confident in saying that. They will retire this name.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no doubt. It's the destruction in the Grenadines is tremendous, and we'll see about Jamaica here. But again, the core is passing south of Kingston, so they're not going to get they're going to get hurricane force gust over there, but they're not going to get that core where those winds are 130, 140 miles an hour. And by the way, wanted to touch on these Hurricane Hunter reports and everything. And the problem with these is, and all the storm chasers can tell you this, if they're saying it's 150, you're probably going to get 130 at the surface. Even with the drop zone data, it's out over the open water. It's not, there's no land friction. So I know they're supposed to tell you, especially if you're in a higher elevation building, that you're expect one higher category higher. I kind of go one category lower at the ground surface because it's, if you're 100 feet or more above ground, then yeah, you're going to get some higher winds. But when you're at the surface, you're just not going to get those winds. Now, that red band you see on the radar there, hitting that little island that juts out. Now, if that was, let me pull up a Google Earth on that, by the way, because I want to show people that area of the coastline. Because if you were living there, and you might get some gust up to 140 miles an hour, as what the advisory is saying. But the majority of those winds are going to be 100, 120, 100, maybe 130. Occasional gust over 140, but you have to get right in those darker, deeper red bands for that to happen.
I was going to say, unless you get one of those darker red bands, the most you're going to see is, and I'm not talking outside of the red bands, what would you say, 75 to 90? Outside of the red band?
Yeah. Like those, and I know the radar doesn't reach correctly because it's coming from Cuba here on this shot that I'm showing, but the southern eye wall, if those hypothetically were just greens, light green and dark green on the radar, those winds are like, probably sustained hurricane force, but not much over that, like maybe, 80, 90 miles an hour. But the red bands up there on the northern quad, that's where those Hurricane Hunter reports of those highest winds, and then they report that to NEC, and then they clock it based on that. But those winds are not evenly distributed around that center by any stretch. I mean, 140 miles an hour. So here's that peninsula. Let me change images here. This is the very southern tip of Jamaica, that little area that's being hammered right now, that little area that juts out to the south there. Here's what it looks like on Google Earth. And again, there's a big patch down here. It's just nothing but grasslands and hills. You get over here to Portland Cottage. There's a little bit of population center here. There's a few houses here. Here's a street, residential street coming in here. So that's at the very top of that little round area that's sticking out on that radar. Again, I'm going to zoom in on that. And looking at that last frame, yeah, they're right on the verge. I mean, the winds have to be coming in probably like this. It's just screaming across here. That's where that red band is. It's just coming very close, right in here. And then as it moves a little further west, I guess the winds will come more like this. So get my pointer back here.
Jim, do you have anything like a banner going at the bottom of the screen?
Yeah.
Or is that an advertisement?
That's a like and subscribe thing I got going there.
So you want that there. I was making sure that wasn't a mistake. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, so and you can see the logo okay and all that. And at the top it says Hurricane Beryl coverage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just not sure. I wanted to make sure that was the way you wanted it. Go ahead.
Yep. And so over here is Rocky Point. Now that's a little further up. again, they're getting right now probably they're just about to get under the worst of this right now in these areas right in here. Rocky Point and let's take a couple. Let's look at some pictures. Okay. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's not really well built construction there. So they're going to be in trouble.
That's a little flim flam.
Yeah. Let's go even zoom in even more. It's a place called Rocky Point Community Center. Oh, never mind.
Can you pinch? Oh, no, you're on your PC. I was going to say pinch the image.
No, I'm not on the P. I'm on the PC.
Yeah, I caught myself as soon as I said it.
Yeah, so this is the area just south of that neighborhood that I was showing you. I mean, it's just swampland, little hilly. And then, of course, down here on the south end, there's nothing. There's nobody lives there.
Jim, holler if you want to talk to me. I'm going to go on mute and look for some other sources.
Yep. There's a lighthouse out here. It's a tourist attraction. Okay. That's the lighthouse that's right in the middle of that grass area. That's getting hammered right now. Guarantee it. Notice it's elevated. So that all that water, that surge water, has to be pouring in here right now and probably filling up these lower levels.
The cameras are up if you need them. I'm leaving them up.
All right. This is a typical road just outside of that neighborhood I was showing you where the houses are, leading into that bare area down there on the southern part of that island area that juts out. So places like Shearers Heights, some of these neighborhoods right in here. There's a school in here. It's a fishing camp. I guess they go fishing in this lake up here. I guess it's a lagoon of some sort. Yep. Yeah, the ocean flows in there. So that's another thing that concerns me. Look at this potential for storm surge coming in like this. That could be very bad as well, because that wind is definitely coming across like this. So not a good situation there. So we have Rocky Point Community Center. This is called Salt Savannah area, the Salt Savannah area. So we're going to pay attention to the news and hear for any information coming out of Salt Savannah. I have some news streams I'm going to share with you in a minute here. And then, of course, you come over a little further here. Let's see. Swamplands. I mean, I would just guess, looking at that population center right here on that uh, little slab of land that comes out to the south there, it's probably maybe 1,000 live in this area. Maybe a couple thousand, perhaps. And then a little further up, you have Lionel Town. There's a sugar factory here. There's a distillery, sugar processing. A lot of these homes are going to be de-roofed over here. Mitchelltown, that's another area over here. Again, if you look at the radar, it's clipping this area pretty good right now. Hoping this is the latest image. Let's check on that. Okay, so now, yeah, here we go. We're getting some of the latest images in here. So now, yeah, those areas are getting hammered pretty good right along in here. This whole area is getting it really good on the radar there. Rocky Point, Lionel Town, Water Lane, Racecourse. Again, we zoom in on this a little bit, and several thousand probably live in that town. And then looks like these are fields, some kind of crops going here. And then we have the Rio Menino River.
Jim, pardon me. I have a radio station pulled up from Jamaica. If you want to simulcast it on the iPad. If you can't hear it very well, I'll bring it to the phone.
Well, I have a couple already booted up. I just wanted to finish my Google Earth.
Just trying to help you. That's all. Go ahead.
So this is called Kemps Hill High School. That's another area that's going to be hit pretty good. So yeah, basically these are the main population centers on the area that's getting that northern eye wall right now. Mitchelltown, Lionel Town, Rocky Point, Longwood. Those are all areas being impacted by that northern eye wall that you see on the radar here. And luckily, it looks like the reds are calming down a little bit as it's beginning to pull away a little bit from that area. And then notice over here where Kingston is, we're not really getting any deep banding in there. And Kingston's over in here. So got Kingston right here, and that's the area that we were pinpointing where the eye wall is currently beating it up right now, down on that southern tip. So let me pull that cam up again, Bill. Do you have that other camera? Or no, I see. Oh yeah, there it is. All right, I'm going to pull up a news station here and see what's coming out of the latest on that from the Nationwide News Network.
Catch the E-Zone with me, this thing a honeybee, alongside. As we turn up the heat in the street.
All right, it's obviously a commercial break. By the way, the other static you're hearing is the Hurricane Watch Net. We're monitoring that as well. If I hear anything come through, I'll be turning the volume up on that a little bit. Okay, here we go.
November 8 Delta Alpha Delta. November 8 Delta Alpha Delta. Barry, I think that's your name. WA8SDF. 73 round.
But Bill, remind me at like in a half an hour from now to stop the stream and we'll start a new one so we don't have a million bytes of file to have to go through.
Whiskey station may not have your call sign right. WA8SDF. Okay, KE9 Alpha Uniform. WA8SDF. 73 round. Happy 4th of July to you too. We'll catch you tomorrow when the real 4th of July happens. KE9 Alpha Uniform, WA8SDF, 73.
Okay, looks like these satellite images are probably about 15 minutes old, 15 to 20 minutes old. I guess it refreshes every 15, 20 minutes. Let me check the Nationwide News, see if they're live again. Well, they're off air now. Let's see. Okay, they're offline. Madeira, Ohio, 13 miles northeast of Cincinnati, and we are. Well, anyway, thank you for checking in, and we'll catch you in a. All right, Bill, give me what you got with your audio over there.
Good for you that you're getting back on the air. So anyway, let's see. Last but not least, on the 73 round is Tom. Tango Alpha India 9 Romeo WA8SDF 73 round. streets, and we'll catch you later. And Tim, can you call for Lowlands check-in? Yeah, that tuner upper goes away. This is 6A group. Any last check-ins before we close it in?
Bill, you got any audio to share?
Well, come on in, Ed.
All right. Yes.
WA4KAI, I think we did miss you. Sorry about that. Cut it out in the mud there, but thank you for checking in and thank you for riding along. We sure appreciate that. Please check in again tomorrow. And this is KWBL in Cincinnati, passing it over to my partner in just north of Cincinnati in Madeira, Jim.
What's that? All right, go for it. I'm not hearing that very well.
He's soft-spoken. How about now? Campbell from 7 West Critical North says it's windy. Some heavy winds. It's blowing.
That's good.
He's currently without electricity. All right. Wondering if that image is frozen now. Yep. I fixed it. Sorry about that. All right, back to hurricane watching. I'm going to see if I can find something else.
All right.
You did have a big walking signal up here too, but now you don't.
Yeah, that's a current satellite image. And the reason I'm not checking any observations at this time is because all of the observations are up in here. They're like along this line, and they weren't really updating before, anyways. But I mean, the last time I checked, they were showing light winds, variable. So either they're down, they haven't updated, which is typical with these weather instruments. We've been through a plethora of these broadcasts where the instruments are just not very good. They don't. A lot of people don't have battery backup or way to keep their instruments online. They might lose their internet connection. There's a lot of things that have to play out perfectly to get your data to upload during a hurricane. So the eye is making a nice comeback on that satellite, though. What's happening? Yeah, so I'm running the same problem. All right, so you guys, I wanted to show you something. This is pretty neat. This is the from NOAA, the NESDIS site, and they have the drop zone data on the hurricane. This is the latest that they have. And excuse, I can read a little bit about what this is, but I'm not a scientist. And for any scientist that may happen to stumble upon this broadcast, excuse me if I'm not interpreting the data correctly. But from what I can gather on this, the you can see when you mouse over it, it tells you the speed, wind speed in knots, and this is again the drop zone data and the SFMR data combined, I believe. And what they do is measure how far out the hurricane force wind field is. So you're figuring 64 knots, right about there, is 54 kilometers from the center of the storm. So you're talking roughly a little over 30 miles out. These hurricane force winds extend from the center. The same thing up in here. let's see, you get 62 knots is right when you get near hurricane force. Again, 46 kilometers. So again, we're talking just under 30 miles north of the center is where those hurricane force winds expand out. To the northwest, it's the same thing. About 53 kilometers, a little over 30 miles to the northwest. Then when you go to south, it shrinks even more. So you have 60, little over 60 knots is 29 kilometers. So we're talking, 15, 20 miles to the southwest of the storm where the hurricane force winds extend out. And then southeast of the center, we have the knots at 60, right about there is about hurricane force right there. And that's 31 kilometers from the center. So we're talking 31 kilometers would be under, around 20 miles ish or something from the center. So, I mean, south of the center, hurricane force winds don't extend out very far. But north of the center, again, this is where the radar comes into play here. But when you see the purple, that's generally hurricane force. We're talking 46 kilometers. And again, that's basically just under 30 miles from the center. So you'll have to get within 30 miles of the center of this hurricane to get these really extreme winds that were shown on the radar. And let me go back to that radar shot. And again, it's just those red bands. The yellows are just coming into those neighborhoods that I showed you earlier on the Google Earth. Probably several thousand people live down in this area, but it's sparsely populated compared to Kingston, which is further northeast of where the center is. Kingston is over on the right there, and they're not getting any hurricane force winds at the moment. They're probably getting tropical storm force. Okay, we got some more radio from It's from Kingston, right? All right, let's go with it.
Can we also just quickly touch on, after the hurricane and any tips to your customers as it pertains to consuming water? What is it that they should do or shouldn't do? All right, so first you want to do a physical check of your pipe. Check your tank where possible, check your pipe, especially if you have any kind of power supply issue. You want to remember light and water don't mix up. Generally, they tell you should shut your breaker off. We don't want the water to be a conduit for electricity. But ensure that there is no leak that could be running near your power supply lines and so on. All right? Secondly, check the pipe for breaks. So you could have contamination, meaning a lot of groundwater, which is dirty water now, is running, and the pipe could suck that in, and then you have some kind of contamination. If there's any doubt at all, boil and follow the Ministry of Health guidance in terms of sterilization, using bleach and so on. But you check those, effect any repairs safely, and then you can go through. We're asking persons also to conserve. Don't take it for granted that the supply will come back to 100% immediately. And if there's any doubt in terms of how the operations at the NWC are for your area, feel free to contact us with us by our toll-free, which is 888-CALL NWC, or you can link us on social media or use the mobile app. So that's 888-CALL. So that's 888-225-5692. The social media handle NWCJAF at NWCJAF, and as I said, the mobile app also furnishes a number of those customers. All right, great stuff. Thank you so much, Delana, for your updates, and stay safe. Yeah, man. We will be posting at just about 5 o'clock, another update on the number of systems and the areas that are linked, where we can furnish some idea of restoration times. We will share those as well. And persons can feel free to contact us throughout the period.
All right.
We can, in case their specific areas may not have been listed.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am. You guys take care of your day.
All right. That's Delana Williams, Acting Corporate Communication Manager, National Water Commission, NWC. Yeah, I mean, guys, listen, conservation is key, and hopefully it will have water put aside as stuff to use during this time. But as he said, there's really nothing they can do. We are going through what is still a category 4 hurricane, and it will shut down, but restoration hopefully will be soon at that later. All right.
All right.
Go back to something else.
All right, let me know if you get anything else.
I'm trying.
All right, you guys, I have the Google Earth shot up again, and these are the areas that are currently being pummeled by the northern eye wall of Hurricane Beryl. And you can see here the extent of those yellows and reds are right over this area in the southern peninsula jutting out in Jamaica. So again, the winds are 140 miles per hour. I'd be more concerned. I'm a little bit concerned with the surge coming in on that bay there. Let me see if there's a name on that. No name for that bay. And there's a beach over here on the east end. Can only imagine what's happening there right now. And it definitely does not look like this. It's not. I'm sure that even that rock is getting belted. If not, it's probably underwater. There's another shot of what that looks like. It looks like a little boat ramp here leading out. And that's pretty flim-flammy looking telephone pole there. I mean, that's gone for sure. That little shed off to the left there is probably blown away, gone. Again, I make speculations on this show. I don't know for certain. You know, like yesterday, or was it Monday? Bill and I were talking about the cemetery that's on the east coast of Carico Island that was hammered by Hurricane Beryl. And you know that the surge had to come in there, and there's a cemetery right on the coast. So I made the comment, well, there might be caskets floating around. I mean, it's just speculation based on what I've seen in damage from other hurricanes that are right on the coast. When you have that kind of an intense hurricane, that's what you could expect. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's actually what happened. That's what the very southern point looks like. I can't enlarge that one. There's a shot of some houses along the coast there. Again, I think that's the Atlantic, the Caribbean Sea down there on the lower right-hand corner. Looks like maybe some bathrooms, some outhouses here. It looks like maybe a little vacation hut area. There's a boat there. And it doesn't look like it's that much above sea level. So that's definitely, although, like I said before, that wind is coming across like this. So Um, the wind may be paralleling that coast, not pushing it up like this. So that I don't know for certain how high that water would get, but it looks like a hill up in here. It's probably 20 feet up. But I don't think anybody's there right now in this area at all. And again, we pull up the radar and make sure we got the latest frame here. And yeah, it looks, there's the newest frame. So the yellows and reds have now moved away from those areas that I'm pointing out on this aerial shot, Google Earth shot. Um, Again, these areas out here, Longwood, Salt Savannah, Rocky Point, Lionel Town over here, are all in trouble with not only from surge coming in like this, but high winds, 140-mile-an-hour wind gusts, because they're right down near um, the ocean. I mean, there's really not a lot of. This is a very flat-looking area. It's not very mountainous at all, so the wind is unabated coming in here. So there's going to be tremendous amount of wind damage. There's another view of the coast that's absolutely getting annihilated right now. I'm not sure what direction this is, but I'm assuming the winds are probably blowing like this. They're blowing across like this, probably from this direction. And again, not very elevated at all here. And this is a town called Mumby. And there's where some, crops, and looks like there's a lot of farming that goes on here. And here's a whole neighborhood called Longwood, just north of that. Now, again, looking at that radar, it looks like they may have briefly got under that yellow and red eye wall. It's remained to be seen if they did, but it was a very, very close call based on that radar shot. And I mean, you can still see yellows did get in there a little bit. Some of those oranges and yellows got in there. Again, here's what some of the houses look like down at street level. I don't think we can go to street level here. No. Looks like some well-built homes down in here. It's hit and miss. Some homes are well built. Others don't look like the one with the blue roof there looks like a well-built home. And again, that road leads closer to the coast. Here's a well-built, looks like a well-built home here. But some of the other ones, maybe the one next to it, not so much. I could see that roof blowing off. Just trying to get my ink right here. It's not. It was regular before. Now it's gotten skinny on me. There we go. Yeah, so like that roof there may blow off. I'm sure these will blow off like in here. Needed that thick. And then south of there, there's really nothing. There's the Minho River. Um, so those are the areas that are currently dealing with the worst right now. You can see the yellow is just offshore. I mean, it's just the area that I'm pointing out right here is, I mean, that eye wall is like right there. It's just so close to that coast that I mean, just it wavers on shore a little bit, and you have some very heavy destruction. That's how close this is. So it's so close to getting on shore, those really high winds. But I think it's safe to say this area down in here, right along this coast, probably this whole area got it really hard because the eye wall did come right over that area. So they were really getting racked there for probably a good hour or longer. All right, let's go back to a camera from, and these are, you know, around Kingston. Some of these camera shots. This is updated. This is 2 minutes old. Looks like flooding in Kingston. Look at the water in the street. There's things floating in the road. Looks like a little bit of roof damage there. The trees. You can look at the palm tree at the top of the screen. That's blowing pretty good. All right, we've been live for about an hour. I'm going to stop this broadcast and we're going to start another one. So if you're watching us on Facebook, it'll be a new stream that'll open up, I think, above the one that you're watching. If you're on the embed page, a new live broadcast will start shortly. And if you're on YouTube, I think it'll be a new stream that starts as well. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, we're going to